انتو برفقة صوت الغد. Vibrant culture, the iconic food and lively atmosphere pushed Burwood into the top 20 in the world and gained the crown as the coolest in Australia. Today we are honoured to speak to Mayor of Burwood, John Fakhr, about this significant recognition. Born in Croydon, from Lebanese background, but from the moment he made Burwood his home, he's given it his heart and soul. Through tireless efforts and a vision for what this place could become, he's helped transform this suburb into the vibrant, into the world-class area we're all so proud of. His contributions go far beyond projects and policies. They are about people and love for the community service. Joining us today, Mayor of Burwood, John Fakhr. Good morning to you. Ahla wa sahla and congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Good morning. I've got to get you on my campaign, Susan. That was the best intro I've ever had. So definitely next campaign, we're coming to see you.
Very, very well deserving.
Thank you. Yeah, no, we're very proud. But
مبروك هالقد كبيرة.
Oh, thank you.
على هالإنجاز.
Dear Fakhurin, we say, is very proud. Like Fakhurin, yeah, we're...
مثل اسمك فخر.
Thank you. But yeah, it's a Haiti win for the community. It's win for our businesses, our residents, الشعب اللي قاعد هون بالمنطقة, the visitors that come here. We have a very strong visitor economy for our local, especially our nighttime economy. So yeah, very proud, but there's still a lot of work to do. سمعنا كتير شغل.
Absolutely.
While we're getting recognition and we're meeting goals along the way, it's a في كتير شغل to do, and we're going to make Burwood even better, and this is just the beginning.
Mr. Mayor, why Burwood particularly stood out, in your opinion, and how significant is this recognition for the local community and for businesses?
Very significant because it recognises what Burwood's become. You know, it's the fifth most diverse community in the country. يعني بالtop 5 بأستراليا اللي معهم different people from different backgrounds. And we have a big, half the community, يعني نص population تبعنا بين العمر 18 و 34. So it gives us a good opportunity to engage with that new generation as well. Why did we get it? Time Out magazine, as مثل ما بتعرفي, is an international magazine around the world. You can go to New York or London or Paris and open up a Time Out magazine in those cities. And it's not something you nominate for. يعني هيدي البرايز or the recognition منها something مثل حدا بيقدم طلب هني بينقوا بين through themselves, like the magazine editors and their readership. So it was, while it wasn't a surprise we made the top 20, it was a bit of a surprise we were actually thought of by Time Out. So yeah, very proud of it, but as I mentioned, it's a في كتير شغل that we need to
Absolutely.
do.
So
and there's a lot of work coming up, which we'll talk about today.
Absolutely. Time Out's annual list, so Burwood ranked above neighborhoods in cities like Naples, Marseille,
yes.
Montreal, Mexico City. How cool is that?
Yeah, it is cool. And
goodness.
And you know why Burwood is cool, and it's number one in Australia, and it's actually, I got contacted by ministers and you know this week or the last week, just saying how proud that now Sydney's on the map again.
But did you imagine your suburb would be recognized internationally?
Well, I didn't know we were in with the chance for it, in the sense that they were thinking, or you know, they had people, their editorship and readership were surveying us. But I'm not surprised, no, because we've always said that Burwood has an authentic experience.
Okay.
It's become Sydney's cultural playground.
Is there any strategy or initiatives you believe were most influential in achieving this recognition?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of everything, Suzanne. كيف بدي أقول لك؟ يعني council's got to have a vision to see where we want the neighbourhood to go to. We've always had a strategic vision that we want Burwood to become a vibrant, diverse, buzzing economy that's cool. And that's why we believe in supporting businesses and cutting red tape. And at the same time, you need the community to come on board, and you need businesses to partner with that. And what we've done is we've deliberately worked with businesses to cut red tape. And we want diversity along the strip. So, for example, you could walk along Burwood Road and find food from around the world. You can have an experience. But the thing is, it's not just, for example, you've got, whether it's Lebanese type traditional foods with Aljani and C-Suite next door, you've got a famous cafe donut chain that's opening across the road now in this precinct.
In a month's time, I think.
Yeah. And then you can walk up and have like Nepalese food or Turkish or Middle Eastern or Greek or even Italian, and even Chinese. And the thing is, had one of the ministers for small business, actually, Anne Ali, came out, who's of Arabic descent as well. She came out during the week and we did a bit of a walk because of she found out with Sally. And she said, it's amazing the food choices you have here, but there's always people around. There's always people in the morning.
That's the good thing about it.
Yeah, walking through
even for
and
myself,
lunchtime and dinner.
Absolutely, it's amazing. As someone deeply committed to community service, Mr. Mayor, what do you see as the most pressing challenges at the moment for you in your suburb?
The challenges is ensuring that we don't. We continue to change and evolve. So we don't want to fall into, and it's something that I keep talking to my directors and the staff about, is that while we've made number one in Australia, it doesn't mean we've met our goal and that's it, we sit back.
Okay.
So the challenge is, what do we still need to do to ensure that Burwood builds on that?
Okay, and how do you balance progress and innovation with maintaining the unique character of this area?
So going back to that previous question and answering this is Burwood, part of the reason why is it sort of evolved itself. Like you go to parts of Sydney, for example, Green Square, which is a beautiful space, but it's very sterile. Like I was talking to people, they said it's very sterile, it's sort of man-made. It doesn't have the activity and vibrancy. And one of the things when we speak to our younger community and also consult with our wider community, they love the fact that Burwood is authentic. It gives you that authentic experience, and it's become Sydney's cultural playground. It's a playground where you come and meet people from all around the globe. But
someone asked me a few days ago, why is Burwood so successful in this? What made it happen? And I said to them that it is a fact. I see Mr. Mayor John Facher walking every day in the street of Burwood, making sure everything is up to standards, looking for ways always to improve. I mean, this is amazing.
Yeah. Well, I was born here, Susan, you mentioned that.
But what keeps you motivated?
Well, I live here. I can't see myself living anywhere else. My kids are growing up here. We're part of the community. I've gotten to meet so many lovely people through the role that I've, had the privilege to do. And I'm passionate about it. I don't want to just be a mayor that sits back and has the title and does the official functions. I want to leave a legacy behind that's going to ensure that Burwood becomes that vibrant, diverse hub. And it's a great example. Like I continue to speak to Paul Scully, the Minister for Planning, or the Premier, or members of Parliament, Jason and Sally, of how Burwood is a great example of immigration done well. It's a great example of density done well. And so when people talk about, immigrants, and immigration are the problem, they're wrong. Come to Burwood and see how immigration has worked. When they talk about development is bad and it's going to change the character of our city and we're going to lose what we had, that's wrong. Come and view Burwood and see what Burwood's done. We've put the density in the town centre. We've still protected our suburbs.
And what achievements are you most proud of?
Oh, I'm proud
honestly speaking. Honestly.
Yeah, look, I'm proud of all our achievements, whether it's this award or whether it's, we're beginning a $55 million arts and culture house in front of the library. So we've just fenced it off. We're beginning that project soon, where we're going to have 1,000 people space that, we'll be able to have art exhibitions or a 330-seat theatre, which will allow us to have, musical performances and even a cafe restaurant there. Or if it's, the upgrade, a $50 million upgrade of our Enfield Aquatic Centre, or even now you would have seen we've put up banners and information to have your say on the $12 million upgrade for Burwood Road to, make that more pedestrian-friendly.
You have made a big transformation to Burwood Road, Dean Street as well. So you are going to improve it more. What are you doing at Dean? You want to create what you have created in Burwood Road?
Yeah, so what we're doing now is Dean Street was always a trial. That's why it was never sort of at the same level. There was still the curb and you was sort of painted the road. And so now if you look at the plans, so residents can get onto our website and في section بالwebsite بيسموه participate Burwood. And if you click on that, you can see all the different projects اللي عم نعمله هلا, and you can click on the project and have your say. Dean Street will now become formal. It'll have some shading as well, some green shading, because obviously we realise part of the feedback of the trial.
في مطاعم وهيك برا وقعدات
well, the مطاعم are alongside it.
Okay,
and then Burwood
nice.
Road, we're going to look at increasing the footpaths, providing more greenery,
Oh, nice.
putting new lighting and smart poles and flags in.
شفت
And
لما
then-
بتمشي
and then-
بالشارع شو بيصير؟
Yeah, yes.
You have a vision for it.
Yeah, so,
and also not to forget, 40,000 commuters use the train in and out every day.
At Burwood
هلا رح
Station.
يزيدوا.
Well,
هلا رح يزيدوا because
they
of
are.
the
It's happening.
recognition.
We get 100,000 on the weekend just for the Burwood Chinatown precinct, which has now become the, I guess, the premier Chinatown for Sydney.
Absolutely.
and we
وهلا
have a-
في مترو كمان.
والمترو جاي هون حد منكم.
So نحن
which-
بالنص ببرود بالنص.
You
eh?
are, yeah.
Yeah.
And the metro will carry, I believe, 20,000 passengers an hour. So in 10 minutes, يعني نحن, we have to start تعودنا على السيارة. And people say to me, what about all the traffic? And, and I say, well, we have to learn to change some of our habits. So we can get on a train and in 10 minutes you're in the city, which is a great way to get there rather
Absolutely.
than, take 20 minutes by car and then you have to park.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we have hotels as well. We have the nightlife in Burwood, which is so special and unique. Can you tell us about the nightlife?
Yeah, the nightlife is, the most important thing about nightlife, and when we speak to residents, is people, again, I mentioned that authentic experience. Last Friday, for example, we had our second time we did Ford Lane. I don't know if you're aware of Ford Lane, which is a laneway, which we now... And now we have businesses that are actually coming to us wanting to run events in the lane. So you can have live music, you can have drinks, whether you want to serve alcohol or not, and also food servings in there. And it's very hip and cool and different. But the nightlife's about food, entertainment, whether people are going to the cinemas or just coming here to shop. And that's why we want to continue to improve what we're doing. That's why you have the new shopping centre coming. Holdmark has started on the stage one, the Burwood Plaza development, which will include, could include up to 250 retail spaces.
My goodness, this is all
there,
new.
Which is, and it's important. So people say, but, how's it? And with the development that's going to come in the Burwood North precinct, which is 15,000 dwellings. And I was talking to a resident the other day and I said, well, the reason why the density works well in the city is because the people that live in those apartments aren't jumping in cars and driving to Westfields. They're actually walking there. One of the things about the success of Burwood is now we're getting a lot of people from outside the area wanting to come in. So one of the challenges is how are we going to better facilitate that?
Yeah. And more people will visit also after this recognition. And I'll tell you the truth, a lot of people come and visit Burwood because of the nightlife.
Yes.
I mean, you cannot have, I'll tell you about myself, in Old Guildford, I live in Old Guildford. If I wanted to have a meal after 9 p.m, it's impossible.
It's closed.
So, yeah.
And there's a lot of places.
I have to drive to Burwood.
Well, you're welcome anytime. Susan, we love that. And that's what we are, and we're proud of that. and we don't shy away from that. And that's why we're looking at strategies to better help our businesses, while at the same time protecting, the character of our residents too. So some of the changes we're doing is we're working with the government, who's released.
But you're lucky. You're lucky in Burwood because you're getting a big funding from the government.
Yeah, big funding because we're working well with them, and they can see that Burwood delivers on what it promises and what it wants to achieve with regards to its strategic vision, which aligns with what the government wants to achieve across Sydney. I had the planning minister told me who lives in Wollongong, came to Burwood a month or so ago with his wife for dinner. And he goes, John, I was astounded at the number of people that were on the street at like 10:30, because I couldn't believe it. And, the Premier's a big supporter of what we're doing here, and he's been supporting us through whether it's funding options or changing policy. And can I just say this? I've been around for 20 years or 25 years on council, and I've worked well with all different colours of government, and that's my role. But can I just say this? Premier Minns, Planning Minister Scully, the Nighttime Economy Minister John Graham, and the Tourism Minister Steve Camp, as well as all the other ministers, I must say, have been tremendous support to what we're trying to do here. And it's probably the first time in a long time I've felt that government is listening to council and the communities about the priorities of the people and aligning their policies to that. We have too much red tape in New South Wales.
A lot of local leaders might say now, why Burwood? So what advice would you offer other local leaders at councils aspiring to create such thriving and inclusive communities, wanting to achieve a similar global recognition for its diversity?
Yeah, it's I've spoken to a number of my fellow mayors who all do a great job in trying to lift their communities. And I guess for me, it's been fortunate that I've had the privilege to have been around a lot longer. So I sort of understand the systems and what's happening with regards to how you can enforce change through policy. But what they can do is, one, start with speaking to your business community, start speaking to your own community about what they expect and what they want. You'd be surprised about the number of residents that you would have that want a vibrant business district, which has tremendous benefits. For example, Burwood's local economy contributes, think of this, no one would realise this, contributes $3 billion to the state's gross regional product per annum. $3 billion from a local economy in Burwood, right?
That is a big number.
So we have close to 5,000 registered businesses in Burwood. You don't see them all, but you're one of those. Like, for example, if you weren't that visible and out there and people know you, they wouldn't know you were here. We have, we get an influx of 20,000. So our population increases by 20,000 during the day. So we get more people coming into Burwood than those leaving per day. And one of my goals is to ensure that we create job opportunities for our residents here.
You're working on that, creating job opportunities, but what about accommodation? What about
housing?
So
I think there's no doubt that Burwood has always played its role for housing opportunities from 20 years ago. We had a very deliberate, strategic vision of concentrating development in and around the town centre, which has helped. That's been one of the pillars. That's why we're getting that population increase. We're having the activity. And when you get that, people need to understand it then drives business to come here. You're then going to get the businesses like, whether it's, Yochi, which is opening now, which is wanting to come here, which is whether you've got Starbucks that's come here, whether you've got the other restaurants that are coming. I think we just had JB Hi-Fi open. I think we're getting Rebel, Aldi. So if you have a population that's growing and can sustain those type of businesses, you've got to get a much more diverse offering of businesses. They're going to want to come here. And those businesses will then offer local employment opportunities, especially for the 50% of our residents who are between 18 to 24. For those residents, for example, that are at university, why do we need them to be having to travel to the city or to Parramatta or to Chatswood to work in a retail job while they're at uni?
We should have
I want them to be able to stay in their own area and to be able to work here. And I know a few
This
of
is
those,
another project.
those young adults that are doing that. Yeah,
This is another project you have to be working on. How do you keep the community united when there are conflicting opinions about change or development? And this happens a lot.
It does, and that's why you need to continue to consult with your community. And you need to be honest, Susan. Like I've been always honest with the community in and around, and some people might not like that, but I tell them change is coming to Sydney. We are going to need more density. People talk about immigration. I just want to remind people, and I think the government could be doing better messaging about this. We need to immigrate, and you know, economists would know about this. We need to have at least 200,000 immigrants per annum to just allow our GDP growth to stay stable. So if we don't want to start falling into negative GDP growth, which means our economy starts shrinking because we have an aging population and a very low birth rate, we need to immigrate 200,000 people here per year. We also need to immigrate that many people here per year to do jobs that Australians aren't doing, some Australians aren't doing. You know, whether it's getting into waitressing or, you know, working in the hotel industry and working in other industries, the cleaning. And so there's, or working in, you know, specialised industries, whether it be accounting or stonemasonry or whatever else it may be. So, or building trades. So we need to do that. That's part of what we need to do to maintain our living standards. So we need to, so it's, the immigration is not causing the housing crisis. What's caused the housing crisis is COVID had a big part of that, which put a lot of pressure on supply, which stopped supply at that time, and then put a lot of cost on the actual cost of construction for housing, which is causing a big issue. So,
is there a big supply now? There isn't.
There isn't, no, and part of that is because, and part of that is we can offer the opportunities.
That's why house prices in Burwood particularly, it's so high.
They are. I mean, they're close to $3 million average prices.
Yeah.
Apartments are quite expensive. One of the things I think government needs to continue to do is cut regulation in and around construction of homes. I think that's putting a big squeeze on, you know, especially your big builders being able to deliver homes in a costly fashion, which puts a downward pressure on the cost and allows to free up more supply.
Okay. And what are the biggest challenges and problems your residents talk about when they meet with you, and how do you deal with complaints normally?
Yeah, as I mentioned, I was talking about, and I probably got a bit diverted, is you need to always have an open conversation and explain those reasons. So I explained what I just explained to you to residents about why. And most of them get that and understand that. Most of them that have settled here or have young adults that, you know, their family, their kids or their grandkids that are here want to stay in this area. Like, I want to be able to purchase, whether if they want an apartment in the future, for my kids to be able to stay in the area and live around their family and live in the community where they were born and grew up in. So that's one of the key challenges. So it's working through that. And how do we handle the issue with regards to complaints? We need to get down to the issue of, okay, how do we solve what the concern is? Sometimes that is fear. So it's negative messaging, you know, whether it's around immigration, whether it's around density. You spoke about housing. How do you manage the conflict? Well, one of the ways we've been able to be successful is we've put that housing and the tall towers in the town centre, around the CBD, around public transport, whether it's buses or train, around the shops. And we haven't destroyed the character of the suburbs like Croydon or Enfield or Burwood Heights or Croydon Park.
I would like to thank you so much for your time today. Any final message? And congratulations again.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you
to all your team.
Thanks. And you're a big part of this, Susan. You and the radio station here, who always give Burwood a positive light and the community. So, all credit to you. We love coming here. We love the fact that you're in Burwood. And this is just the beginning.
This is a privilege. To be in
Just the
Burwood.
beginning.
No, honestly speaking, thank you so much again, and all the best.
Thank you.
All the best.